Hello everybody. Human electromagnetic emission in the ELF.
Measurement Science Review, Volume 5, Section 2, 2005. 29. Human electromagnetic emission in the ELF band. J. Lipkova, J. Sechak. Radar Department, Faculty of Military Technology, University of Defense, Kunikova 62, 61200, Brno, Czech Republic. Email, yaroslav.chekak@unob.cz. Abstract, submitted report is oriented to the area of detection of signals emanated by man in the ELF, extremely low frequencies range. Designed and applied antenna system suitable for signal reception in the ELF band is presented here. Results of digital signal processing in the ELF band are presented in the report in the graphic form together with the photographic material provided in the course or signal recording. Finally, there is discussion of possibilities of the ELF band signal analysis for detection of men, for example under the snow avalanche, in cave-in and underground mines, etc. Keywords: ELF, distance detection, Schumann resonance. Introduction. Every living organism on our planet is surrounded with an energy in form of the signal environment. This energy is produced either by him as result of essence of his living and survival, or the energy occurs in form of natural and artificial signals of the terrestrial origin and further of extraterrestrial origin, signals coming from the near and deep space. If man has the option, the gift to see far broader spectrum, so not to be limited by visible part of the spectrum only, he would be surprised, for sure, how dense spectrum exists on our planet. That magical word energy, which is cause of everything, the word quoted in any form and connected with every living or dead form, is playing important part. There is no doubt that man itself is emanating energy. However, it is necessary to remember how weak this field is. Signals emitted by the brain constitute one component of this energy. It concerns extremely low frequencies, ELF. 1. Electromagnetic field of human body. A cell is the basic, very small unit of the living substance. It measures about 10 microns, i.e. 10 to 5 m. But it is still enormous to compare with particles carrying electrical charge, electrons. There is place for at least 10,000 for them on the cell length, and about 30,000 for them on the cell circumference. To create electricity in the cell needs capacity to process certain chemical materials, which the cell absorbs. The cell makes free chemical energy by chemical decomposition of the material, and is using it for protein building, for its own work, and for creating electricity in presence of oxygen. The electricity is the most important thing for some cells, for nerve cells for example. Communication between nerve cells, neurons, depends on the parameter called resting membrane potential, RMP. Cell interior is negative in respect to its surface, and potential across the plasmatic cell membrane is reaching values between 20 MV and 200 MV. RMP of the nerve cell is in range 40 MV to 90 MV, the sustained value is 70 MV. We call such cells polarized. Aforesaid voltage values are really negligible. Currents reach orders of magnitude of microamperes. Nevertheless, those values are not insignificant. Schumann resonance, connection of man with the nature, it concerns the state on boundary of beta and theta levels, at 7.83 Hz more precisely. Brain waves have no constant frequency, but their frequency is changing. The whole control system is buried deeply in the brain, in the thalamus. The thalamus is switching and integrating center of excitements coming from sensors, from the spinal cord, and the brain stem to the cerebral cortex. The system is called thalamic rhythmic generator or pacemaker. Calcium ions are seeping slowly to particular thalamicortical neurons, which are oscillating 1.528 seconds, and are triggering brain waves. Then, the brain waves propagate up to the cerebral cortex. If those neurons are saturated with calcium ions, the thalamic Measurement Science Review, Volume 5, Section 2, 2005. 30. Oscillations stop. The brain waves are idling during this silent phase, lasting from 5 to 25 seconds. The thalamic oscillations start again, when the calcium level in cells drops to the value allowing the neuron to oscillate again. EEG has shown that waves do not expand to the brain only, but through the whole nervous system, through the perineural system, and to every part of the organism. So, the brain waves adjust sensitivity and activity of the whole nervous system. The time domain, where the brain waves are not thalamus-controlled, is the most interesting part of the system. Then the brain field can be affected by electrical and magnetic rhythms from outside, natural or artificial. Magnetic field of Earth, geomagnetic field, is reason for magnetic needle of a compass pointing to the North Pole. But, if you look to the needle under the microscope, you see its minute movement due to geomagnetic microscopic pulses, which are reason for the unique geophysical mechanism, Schumann resonance. German. Atmospheric physician W.O. Schumann brought in the idea that the space between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere behaves as the resonance cavity. Energy for this cavity is supplied with thunderbolts. The Schumann theory was accepted in 60s. So, thunderbolts generate electromagnetic standing waves propagating around the globe. Those waves are reflected from the ionosphere back to the Earth's surface, and then back to the ionosphere. So, value of the Schumann resonance depends on the distance of the ionosphere from the Earth's surface, which is subject to the Sun activity. This value is subject to the magnetic storms disturbing the ionosphere above all, and the Schumann resonance trails off, so it is created by terrestrial activities, and modified, or modulated by extraterrestrial activities. The following correlation is interesting as well, resulting from that all, wavelength. We can find out by calculation that lambda equals C/F equals 2.997924 108/7.83 equals 38.3 thousand kilometers. This number is not accidental, and it is close to the value of the Earth's circumference. 2,3. Measurement of the human body emission in ELF band. For measurement of the human body emission in ELF band, we can use the loop antennae of the type used in bands ranging from ELF to UHF from the very beginning of radio communication. Their small dimension is their main advantage to compare with the wavelength for which they are intended and the source distance. Big volume of the copper wire needed for winding is their main disadvantage. They are working with the magnetic field entirely, to compare with their counterpart, electric monopole. For this purpose, the loop antenna was designed and constructed. Its picture is in Fig.1. Fig.1, picture of the loop antenna for ELF band in the anechoic chamber. Measurement Science Review, Volume 5, Section 2, 2005. 31. The antenna has following electrical parameters. Antenna effective aperture, 118.3 square meters. Loop resistance, 5.98 ohms, loop inductance, 31.2 mH, low limiting frequency, 30.5 Hz. Signal from the antenna goes to the current/voltage converter, and then to the subsequent amplifying stages. The amplified signal goes through the low-pass filter. To filter out the all-around present industrial interference in the 50 Hz band, the low-frequency value of the filter was chosen of 30 Hz. Filter output signal was digitized with the 16-bit A/D converter with the sample frequency of 44.1 kHz. The whole measuring installation was supplied from a battery and placed into the grounded anechoic chamber. The signal in ELF range was registered without a person, and with a person, alternatively. ELF band signal analyze. There is an example of time record of the signal 4 minutes long in the Fig.2, where the first part was recorded without presence of a person in the anechoic chamber, and the second part was recorded in presence of a person. Even when the record was made in the shielded anechoic chamber, it is obvious from the time diagram of the recorded signal that there is strong industrial interference present. The sporadically emerging harmonic signal on frequency 16.87 Hz 8 to 39 periods long deserves special attention. It is highly probable that this signal comes from the near trolley line. This signal did not appear in the record made during measurements in the night. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 180. 120. 60. 0. Time, SEC. Magnitude. Fig. Point 2. Time record of ELF signal in the anechoic chamber. The spectral analyze gives us more information about recorded signals. The PSD power spectral density diagram of the recorded data is in Figure 3. There is the Schumann resonance on frequency of 7.1 Hz in both diagrams, red, but it is interesting fact that there is the resonance of the Schumann frequency with the man, blue, distinct splitting and amplification of the spectral peak on frequency of 7.1 Hz. There is the second distinct frequency peak on frequency of 6.7 Hz too. Hereinafter, there were other, albeit less distinctive harmonic components on frequencies of 2 Hz, 3 Hz, 4.2 Hz, 16.8 Hz, and 21.3 Hz incidental with the cardiac, breathing and cerebral human activity. Measurement Science Review, Volume 5, Section 2, 2005. 32. 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 0. 0.02. 0.04. 0.06. 0.08. 0.1. 0.12. 0.14. 0.16. 0.18. 0.2. Frequency multiple by factor 0.1 Hz. Magnitude. Fig. 3. Diagram of the PSD of the analyzed signal, red line without a human, blue line with a human. Conclusion. It is evident from provided measurements, and their analyze so far, that man is emitting electromagnetic energy in the band of interest. This band was situated deliberately to the frequency interval of 0.5 to 30 Hz. In following works, it is necessary to optimize antenna aperture size from the point of view of reasonable dimensions, and to carry on set of measurements allowing detection of the human body imprisoned under the snow avalanche, for example. However, design and construction of ELF band antenna, with the distinct directional characteristic, is the necessary assumption, in order that other people in vicinity do not influence measuring results. Design of antenna system form is subject of research of this problem as well. Question arises, too, if it is advantageous to design the dedicated loop antenna with the free resonance frequency on 6 to 7 Hz approximately. Considering supposed applications, only magnetic component of the emission was recorded and analyzed yet. Nevertheless, works on measurement and recording of electrical human body emission component are in stage of already designed dedicated measurement devices. Results of future research of this certainly interesting problem will be presented. The Ministry of Industry and Trade supported this work under the Grand No. FIIM 105. References: 1. Gandhi K. Biological Effects of ELF-PF Radiation, 1977. 2. Kummer, J.A., Lightning and Ionospheric Remote Sensing Using VLF/ELF Radio Atmospherics, Stanford University, 1997. 3. Jones, D.L., Extremely Low Frequency, ELF, Ionospheric Radio Propagation Studies Using Natural Sources, IEEE Transaction COMM, 1974.